If I offered to personally help you get your coloring book idea out of your head and into your hands in the next 30 days, using the exact same process that helped me create and publish my first book in 5 days, then leverage my status as a newly published author to launch and leverage it to create 2 additional income streams in less than 6 months, allowing me to make more money faster than relying solely on one-off book sales on Amazon or Etsy. And I did it with no formal art training or prior design experience. Would you be interested? Hi, my name is Rodney, creator of the Coloring Book Creator podcast. My first coloring book, Never Too Late to Make It Happen, inspired me to launch my first paid membership community and online course and coaching program that has helped over a dozen first-time authors create and publish over 30 titles and counting, while opening the door for a portfolio of additional income streams like launching a subscription box, landing paid speaking opportunities and offline teaching positions, and creating online courses and paid workshops. So the only question is, are you next? If you answered yes, shoot me a text to 415-851-1222. Again, that's 415-851-1222 and says, yes, I heard you on the podcast, and I'll respond within 24 hours with details on how to take advantage of this offer. Talk soon. You're listening to the Coloring Book Creator Podcast, episode 51. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about all the ways you're currently leaving money on the table and the most important thing you must start focusing on today to quickly get cash flow moving. So stay tuned. So perhaps you have created and published your book. Perhaps it's a written book, an audio book, it's a coloring book, a planner, a journal. And perhaps you've experienced your sales being lackluster, or perhaps just have plateaued altogether. But now you're at a point where you're ready to get cash flow moving. So what do you do? Well, it's simple. Bundles. This episode is going to be about why bundles are so attractive. They're actually easier to sell, and they're a fast-track opportunity to increase your bottom line. Now, the first thing about bundles is that they are, in my opinion, convenient. Let's say, for an example, in my Coloring Book Creator Mentor program, I am now working with a small group of entrepreneurs, creators who are creating journals and planners. It's a new service I've added on to the program. And perhaps you've made a journal, or in the case of my students, they've made digital planners that have pages where people can track their progress, they can journal, they can, do all kinds of things that's basically helping them track their progress. But let's just keep this very simple and say you do a line journal with prompts. Now, the question may be, well, how can I take a lined journal book and create another product based off of that? Perhaps my journal only has what I call inspirational quotes or prompts inside of it. Well, the first thing that you can do is you can actually record your voice reading those prompts so that the customer actually has an audio iteration of your journal or planner in this case, either way. So it's not just the planner by itself, but it's an audio experience to go with it. Not sure if you've noticed this or not, but there is a massive, massive opportunity right now in audiobooks. People are buying audiobooks as much as they're buying the either hard copy or the digital copy. So an audio iteration of whatever you created actually makes a lot of sense because it complements what the physical product, or in this case, digital product, may entail. So I recommend immediately your next product would be an audio iteration of your book. Now let's go a little further. Let's say that you created just a lined journal with basically text-based prompts, but perhaps you can expand on that and turn it more into a planner. So the planner could have, again, worksheets, it could have exercises, it could have tracking guides, it can have links to resources that you recommend that accompany the topic or the focus of your planner or your journal in this case. It could be to audio files, it could be to YouTube videos, it could be to courses, it could be to anything. So again, the idea is that you're creating a centralized place That creates an enhanced experience for your customer. So again, you've gone from just a lined journal to now an audio iteration of the journal to now possibly a planner that gives your customer a lot more exercises and activities they can do, including, if you wish, coloring pages you can add inside of it to actually enhance the customer's experience. The operative word here is the word experience. We are no longer focusing on just selling a book. We are looking at creating an experience. The more that we can create an experience for our customer, the more and the easier it will be to bundle, and the easier it'll be for the right people to consume your bundles because they feel like they're getting more than just a lined journal that maybe they can go buy on Amazon for $10 or what have you. Okay. Now, assuming that you are doing your first projects as digital, the obvious next choice would be to turn them physical. So you'd go get them printed, you'd have a physical iteration of it, and vice versa. If your current iterations are physical, then highly consider creating a digital iteration of it. Again, so let's circle it back around. Let's say that you have made your journal or your planner, in this case, let's say it's digital. The obvious next choice would be to make a physical iteration of it. You can start out using, let's say, Amazon, for example, to publish it there. So now you have, and that's just one option, there are others, but you can have a physical version of the packet, the book, a digital version of it. Maybe if it's a planner, now you can create a journal to go with it. You now can have an audio version of it with prompts. So now you're seeing how you're able to really build up and flesh out the bundle. Again, we are looking at making the experience for our customer and making it as convenient as possible for them to actually consume our content. Now, it again doesn't stop there. You can now take that audio version, that digital version of it, let's say a PDF of some sort, and the physical version of what you created, bundle those all together. And then alone, that package alone would go from selling a planner on Amazon for, say, $15 to now you're looking at a minimum of anywhere from bare bones minimum $37, $47, $57, because they are getting a digital version, a physical version, and an audio version of your product. That is how you raise your income, by creating bundles. They've got 3 different ways to interact with your content, because that's what you really are doing, is creating content, but you're taking one idea and multi-purposing, or more to the point, repurposing it in other ways. And again, the minimum price points can be around $37 to $47, $57, but it doesn't stop there. The next thing that you can add is a mini course. So you can do a mini course that lasts like an afternoon, a day, 2 days, 3 days, up to 5 days. I wouldn't go longer than that. You can take the framework of what you created with your journal planner, however you wanted to, put that together, and you actually work out the content with a live audience. So you basically promote this event. You get people to sign up for it. If this is the first time out the gate, you might decide to do it for free just to get students involved. Really show up for them. Support them. You can demonstrate your products to them using it as part of the curriculum for the sessions, I should say, letting them know that you have putting together a bundle that will include all the things that you've created. Those are the digital version, the physical version of your product, as well as an audio version of your product. And now you can add the replays from that workshop series that you did. So if you record your workshop series, let's say using a tool like Zoom, then you've got those recordings available. So now you can sell the recordings with the digital and the physical and the audio version. Now you're looking at $97 minimum and above. So again, you took one simple document, you repurposed it now 4 different ways. You've got a digital version, or vice versa, print. You've got an audio version. Now you've got a video version because you've now created a course. The only thing you would need to do this is a Zoom account. I do recommend a paid account because you're going to need more time, to spend with your people, and perhaps a Facebook group, which could be a pop-up Facebook group that's only up during the time that you're running this workshop series, and or which could turn into a long-term Facebook group if you find that the people are really engaging with the content. So again, we are taking one idea, looking at how many different ways can I repurpose this and dramatically and steadily increase my income. We are no longer focusing on just trying to sell one single product for $10 to $15. We want to be in that at least ideally bare bones minimum around the $40 range to $100 plus. And you can get that if you are creating an experience for the people who are consuming your content. So you obviously would have to have a topic that people are interested in, very much so, with a problem that you can solve or a result that you can help them get. Let's say, for an example, you want to do a planner around self-care. Well, that is perfect for a 3-day retreat of some sort. I like to call them virtual retreats over workshops or boot camps or masterminds, which is so used so much. But the idea of a virtual retreat where people can spend time with you, they can maybe you can do meditations together. Maybe you do a vision board workshop with them. Perhaps you do some journaling. You break people up into little groups and let them talk and dialogue, and they walk out with a self-care plan at the end of the 3 days. That's a way that you can take inspirational prompts and quotes and turn it into a multi-tiered level experience. So again, you can have those meditations or so forth recorded. You can place them again in an MP3 file, which they can just download those from the internet, which you can put them on Google Drive or you can put them on Dropbox. There's other services that you can use as well if you want to more privatize the audio files, in addition to the digital iterations of it, plus a physical iteration of the planner, which you would actually have mailed to them. Now, speaking about physical products and mailing products to people, there are print-on-demand services in addition to, let's say, Amazon, for an example, that can do quality printing for you. I am recording this podcast episode in reverse. Episode 52 that follows this episode, I just completed an interview with the owner of a print-on-demand company that I'm very familiar with called Bravante. And I just completed that interview with Cindy Tyler, who was the owner of that company. So I definitely recommend listening to that episode after this one. It's episode, again, 52. And her company specializes in creating high quality print on demand products, things like planners, journals, but she also does great products like card decks. And that's a really popular product right now that a lot of people are really interested in. So in that interview, actually, it's on YouTube as well as the audio iteration of it. I'll have the link in the show notes to where you can go watch that video iteration of it, because she actually shows you these products, these card decks. Now, card decks, like I said, are very popular. People really love them. But there's a caveat to what I want to share about that. And in this particular case, using this company, Bravante, which I'm recommending to you. The print, basically, to land the plane on this, is that with print on demand, typically you're ordering 1, 2, 3 products. In this case, because of the way that the product has to be produced, the minimum that they can do is orders of 25, which means you have to invest in at least 25 units of a particular product. Now, again, I'm not going into all of this on this episode. Listen to episode 52 to get more details about all of that. But I will say that, you will need to invest upfront to have these card decks, in this case, printed. Or if you want to do a higher touch, a higher quality level planner with all types of pockets and tabs and special bindings and things like that, that's a good company to check out. So again, I'll put the link in the show notes to that. But let's stay with card decks for just a moment. Card decks, like I said, are very highly sought after. People really enjoy them, and it would be a fantastic product to add into your bundle. As I said, we get into that in much depth in that episode 52. So again, imagine now you started out with, let's say, a planner, a line journal that perhaps just has inside of it prompts that now get recorded as audio prompts with maybe meditations or visualization exercises and that kind of thing. So that all gets added together. Now you've got the audio iteration, you've got the physical iteration, let's say with your prompt journal. Then let's say you create a planner to go with it that has more exercises and trackers and things of that nature that can go inside of that. So that could be the next tier product that you offer. Okay. Now you've got the audio, a physical iteration, a digital iteration. Then you decided to maybe add on a workshop. Make it be a 3-day series, a 5-day series. I wouldn't go more than that. I try to do 30 days. I don't recommend it. It's too much and you'll lose audience over time. So around a 3 to 5 day experience at the most. You charge anywhere from bare bones minimum about $97, $99 upwards to about $200, maybe a little bit more. But now this is where I circle back to the card decks. The card decks are going to probably run you around $10 plus. We estimated that based on the interview I did with Cindy. So now you may be thinking, okay, I want to make sure that I'm recouping my costs because I'm going to have to, you as the creator, if you use this service, you're going to have to front load capital-wise to go and order those 25 card decks. Even though they are going to do the shipping and delivery and fulfillment, you still will have to do a 25 order minimum. It's not a one-off, you place an order and get one product at a time like you may be familiar with Amazon KDP. This is a little different. So again, you may be looking at, let's say, a minimum cash outlay up front of around $300 so. Could be a little bit more, probably in the $300 to possibly $400 range. It just depends. And if you're nervous about whether or not you would be, if you want to front load that's a term I like to use, where you're front loading the cash out front before you actually can sell it, what I would recommend is that you have these starter bundles ready to go. You see how well those are selling because you're making more money than just $10 for a book. You get some cash flow coming in from those bundles. Then you turn around and take a portion of that money and you go and now that you understand the content, the audience, the topic, and what you're going to create, then you start looking at using a service like Vervante to go get a card deck done that you can front load with. I mean, you've got the cash flow to front load that. What you're doing while you're preparing that, you start promoting this retreat or workshop series and you start collecting money for that also. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a dance to make sure that the timeline between when you start selling this class or this workshop series and when those cards are going to be ready for you to deliver. Because ideally, when people are doing the workshop, you'd like to have the card decks ready to ship out to them. So again, this is a little bit of a dance that you'll have to do. But again, you've already sort of beta tested this by offering the existing bundles using just straight print on demand, which is one-off products, one at a time. You've generated some cash flow. Now you're tiering up with another level experience, and you can now do that by selling the card decks. Now, let's say that you do a basic 3-day, let's say a basic 3-day retreat. Let's just round the number up to $100, and you sell at bare bones minimum 5 spots. Okay. You've already then made all the money you need and probably with a little bit of profit left over to go get the card decks printed. But you also could sell 10 spots and now you've made $1,000. You've more than covered the printing of the card decks. But let's say, for an example, 10 people bought. You had to order a minimum of 25 card decks. Now you've covered the whole print run. You're going to deliver those 10 card decks to the people who bought the $100 course from you. And now you've got 15 card decks on hand that, guess what, you can add into the bundle with now the recordings from the retreat that you did, with the audio, with the digital planner, with the physical journal or planner, and now you've got another bundle that you can still continue to sell. So maybe live, it was one price. Maybe if it's not taught live, it's a different price because they're just getting the recordings. So this is a way that you're going from just selling a book and making maybe $3 or $4 on Amazon to now making hundreds of dollars per sale just by doing one simple thing, bundling, creating related products that relate to a single focused topic and providing a variety of different experiences to your end customer. Again, as someone who has purchased card decks and buys journals and planners and signs up for courses all the time, this would be something that would be very, very valuable to the audience that you're serving. So again, if you're looking to increase your income without creating, typically what I have found in my experience of working with my members and students in my Creator Mentor program is this idea or this feeling that you need to create volume, meaning volumes of books, maybe on all different kinds of topics that may or may not even be related, and trying to make your sales from just selling on Amazon, where your average per unit price profit per book is around the $3 to $5 range, which means that if you wanted to make, let's just round it up to $5. If you wanted to make $1,000, you got to sell 200 books to make $1,000. So that's going to take time. That's going to take a lot of, you're still going to have to do marketing anyway to get traffic over to Amazon. And it can happen, it can work, but it's a longer play. Whereas if you create a multimedia related experience by creating audio, video, digital, and print, and now other things like card decks, as an example, you can put something like that together, sell less volume, but more profit per sale that you get. You can get to that $1,000 quicker per month as opposed to trying to have to only go with a volume play. Now the best thing about this is you can sell still all of these individually if you wish, or again, repackage them and rebundle them in different ways. So again, once you've got everything created, it's just a matter of how do you want to reconfigure it. And it doesn't really stop there. If you want to offer like a coaching program, if you want to offer like a membership community where people are paying you monthly to be a part of your program, where they're getting updated materials, updated lessons, updated classes. Maybe you do other card decks throughout the course of the year and they get those, or you do a more advanced planner that has maybe a hardback cover. It has tabs in it. It has a ribbon around it. It has the elastic strap that goes over to hold it together. Vervante can do those for you too. And you can cover that cost by the monthly recurring income that you're getting in your membership site. So again, this is you're starting with a simple document, but you are layering on additional experiences. And each time you do that and reconfigure and rebundle, you're able to dramatically increase your income. You could have a welcome package. Let's say you do a membership community, and you can have an annual payment plan. So you can have monthly payments or annual payments. Well, let's say if your membership is $49 a month, I hope you're finding value in this episode. I just want to take a moment to tell you about a special workshop I'm hosting called How to Set Up a Simple One-Page Website designed to help you pre-launch your book as you're creating it. And here's why I'm doing it. So many creative entrepreneurs, unfortunately, make list building a low priority when actually it should be, next to creating your work, one of your highest. Why? Because platforms are changing every second. What's hot right now may be out the window, possibly by the time you finish listening to this episode. But do you know what will never go out of style? Your email list. This is something no one can take away from you. Social media platform or seller can close your account. But with proper preparation and positioning, you can be ready to keep your business going with a simple email. No algorithm worries, no platform freezes. And that's why I created this special workshop. This is not a watch me type training. We are going to be rolling up our sleeves and setting up your first contact list, your one-page website, and a welcome email sequence that will automate. So when a new subscriber gives you their contact info, they'll receive your instant response from you. The bootcamp will conclude with a special bonus workshop where we'll craft your first welcome email sequence with the power of ChatGPT. And the best part, you get to keep lifetime access to the recordings at the end of each session, plus all of my scripts, templates, and checklists. And it's all yours for just a one-time payment of only $97. So affordable for everything you get. Click the link in the show notes for a complete outline and registration link. And even if you can't make it live, if this training speaks to you, register and I'll personally make sure that you have everything you need to create your first one-page website, launch, and grow your email list. Now back to the episode. And you decide to do an annual plan. Typically what happens in the membership site, what they call continuity program sort of ecosystem, what typically happens is you do whatever your monthly rate is. Then if you decide you want to do a prepay annual plan, typically what happens is, again, this is kind of, I'm not going to say this is a rule. This is just sort of what happens, is what I see. It's like the culture of it. They'll take 10 months of that $49 in this case, and that's what the annual plan is. So they'll give the customer 2 months off. So instead of $49 a month for 12 months, it's $490 for 10 months. And then 2 months they add on as a incentive to get the person to go ahead and buy. With that said, now you've got more cash flow to work with, covers your print runs, still leaves income in your pocket because you still have your monthly members coming in. And once your print run is covered, you don't have to keep laying out more money for that unless you run out of product. So you may have to redo it in that respect. Okay. So again, this is just one part of the conversation. I'm going to continue this in more conversations because I do want to talk about this a lot more. Again, there's a lot of opportunity here. I think it's just a matter of a mindset shift that has to happen. But it's something that if you aren't thinking about, I highly recommend that you do start thinking about it. Because again, instead of creating hundreds of products and trying to get all of your sales by basically flooding the system with tons of unrelated products, at least at the very least, make sure that your products all complement each other so that you can at least in that respect take advantage of cross sales. So if you're I would say think in terms of a theme and make everything that you do follow along the lines of that theme. Otherwise, everything is too disjointed. The thing with sales and bundling is it's going to be easier to get a sale from someone who's already purchased something from you. Okay. But what they will add on to a sale they've already decided should complement what they've already put in the cart and said that they'll buy. Alrighty. So you want to make sure that if you're going to create a variety of different products, make sure that those products all have a related subject, theme, topic, or whatever the case may be, and just keep making more things that complement that. So instead of them buying one book, they buy 2 or they buy 3. Instead of buying 2 or 3 books, they go get the digital version of it as well as the physical version of it, because it's a different experience. Perhaps they go and they get the audio version of it because they want to listen to the meditations, the visualizations, the prompts, or whatever you chose to put in there. They will then decide to maybe go check out the workshop that you did because guess what? They have your products now. They want to learn more about how to implement what you shared inside of them. So then a course comes into play and you can just keep gradually stair-stepping up what you offer. It's just a matter of revising how you're packaging it and how you're offering it. Alrighty. So I'm going to stop the episode here. I'm going to continue this conversation with more. I'm going to deep dive more into creating things like retreats, how to put those events together. I'm also going to start talking a little bit about ads as well, because I know that's a topic that can be a great way to get your first leads in to potentially buy these bundles, but I'm going to save that for another episode. So again, listen to this episode again, start thinking about how can I repurpose my existing products in a variety of different ways? Again, if you started out physical, obvious next choice is digital. If you did digital, obvious next choice is physical. What kind of audio iteration can I put together to complement what I've created? I'm not saying reading a whole book. We're not doing that. We're not reading a book. You haven't written a book. But your prompts, your exercises, your tips, like I said, you can do visualizations, meditations, anything like that that can accompany the experience of the product that you created would be a great fit to go in this particular audio program. Then you start looking at some kind of a course of some sort, or a workshop or a retreat, I like to call them. Anyway, those can be like 1 to 3 day experiences, up to 5. Again, I would not really go I would not go definitely any more than 5. You'll start losing interest with people after 5 days. I would try to stick around 3. 3 seems to be the sweet spot in my experience. So I'll talk about that more in a future episode of the podcast. And then I'll also start talking about how you can use ads to be able to get people to sign up for your retreats. Again, right now, what you're focusing on is like repurposing existing content you've already made in multiple formats. And then we're going to look at different ways that we can create containers around it so that we can, again, bundle things and increase our sales. So with that said, I'm going to put the links in the show notes here to the episode that follows this one, which is the interview that I did with Cindy Tyler, the owner and creator of Revante. Listen to that. See how you get inspired by that. There's going to be links inside of those show notes to go look at her catalog, the different products that she has. I will tell you this, a lot of people that I speak with, my members and students and so forth, in particular, are very excited about card decks. And if you've been thinking about doing a card deck, you've got the perfect. If you already created a journal, planner, whatever the case may be, even a written book, if you've written a book, you've already got content that can easily go into a card deck. So if that's something that you're thinking about wanting to do, most definitely listen to that episode. And again, you can find out more about that. And then if you're interested in actually creating any of this, if you've not done your journal, your planner, your coloring book, or any of these things yet, your workshops or courses or retreats or whatever you're thinking about, if it's on your mind and it's something that you've been thinking about and you don't know where to start, contact me. I've got my contact information also here in the show notes. I'll be more than happy I'll give you a link on how you can book a strategy call with me, or discovery call with me. Actually, it's more of a discovery call because I get to learn about you. You get to learn about me. And if there's a way for us to work together to be able to help you develop all of this and get a plan together for what the topic is going to be, what the planner is going to be about, or the journal is going to be about, where you can source the content to put in there, how you can get it designed, the packaging, the bundling, the opportunities. If that's something that you've been inspired by what you heard today, do book that session with me just to make sure that I'm really clear and transparent. I do charge a nominal fee for those sessions, but you can apply that to any paid programs that I have. So I just wanted to let you know that. So I am going to put the link in the show notes to that. You can check it out if you're interested. If you'd like to book a session with me, let's talk about your idea, your project, how we can help you to put this together. And then let's go about the process of actually doing it. So I'd be more than happy to help you. Alrighty. So with all that said, this is Rodney Washington, your host, signing off. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be talking to you in future episodes.